In the fall of 2000, I studied abroad in Santo Domingo, which is the capital city of the Dominican Republic, the Spanish-speaking Caribbean island, the Spanish-speaking Caribbean country, which shares the island of Hispaniola with French and Creole-speaking Haiti. I was there because I am a Latin America and immigration nerd, and I wanted to learn about a country that was a major point of origin for a lot of people coming to the United States. In my arrogant, pretentious, college-age mind, Mexico was too boring. Puerto Rico didn't really count because people from there have U.S. passports. They wouldn't let me go to Cuba. And South America was too cold. So DR it was. And I decided to learn the hell out of it. It's a trip, trying to be a relatively non-clueless gringa in Santo Domingo. And I was pretty attached to being non-clueless. There's a long history of white people behaving inappropriately in the Caribbean, going all the way back to Columbus. And I began, if I was going to add any more ignorant misbehavior to the historical record, intentionally. At times, this felt like a challenge. This is a culture in which men just comment on women walking by in public. Any man, any woman, any circumstance. Some of you may have had the experience of being in cultures like this. It's as if every day you're wearing an extremely short skirt or perhaps a bikini and walking past a construction site, or rather how I imagine construction sites were in the 70s, before the inevitable decline of the American male that we've all been reading so much about lately. Only you're just wearing whatever clothes you're wearing, and it's not a construction site, it's anywhere in public. The corner, the bus stop, the mall, the bank, literally anywhere a woman might walk past a man. Men hiss. At first, I genuinely thought it was because I was doing something wrong. And then I realized that they were hissing to get my attention. And when I would stop and look, they would talk to me. Rubia, linda, bella, española, blanquita, flaca, ven acá. Rubia was the one that I got most of all. Technically, a rubia is a blonde woman. Now I'm not blonde, but clearly I could be. Rubias. Ven acá. In Dominican Spanish, the word for catcall is piropo. Now, it can be a noun, un piropo. It can be a verb, either on its own, piropear, or in a conjunction, tirar piropo, which literally means to throw piropo at someone. It can be distracting, and it's pretty much always annoying. Just about as annoying as you can imagine being reminded every time you leave your house that you're only a pair of tits and an ass. So you learn to stop paying attention to the hiss. But here's the thing about piropo. It's not about men trying to get attention from women. It's not even about men coming on to women. It's about men performing for other men. Men showing each other how macho they are. It sounds a little crazy, but it's true. Sometimes men would be eating lunch in the middle of chewing and all of a sudden realize they're walking by and throw out piropo with a mouthful of food. Fluya! They're not trying to take anyone home. They're just trying to show how smooth they are to their bros. I remember initially there was one dude who I always passed by on the way to the bus I'd take to school. He was generally the first man I'd see in the morning outside, and he'd always at me, sometimes say stuff, "Rubia, bella, chula, ven acá," and it would drive me crazy. But it would also remind me to put on my mental armor and just not listen. It sounds bizarre, but eventually you stop noticing, you remember to put your armor on before you leave the house. In a word, it is infuriating. In another word, it is disrespectful. In even more words, if you get zen enough about it, you stop noticing it because it's not about you. I was taking classes with mostly Dominican, Haitian, and Cuban men studying to be priests at a Jesuit school, which is another wordplay story all on its own. And I was also taking classes at a postgraduate institution with mostly other gringos, and we'd talk about piropo amongst ourselves. All the gringas trying to work out how to resign ourselves to it, the way Dominican women seemed to be able to do. Everyone had a different reaction. Some women really struggled with it, really wanted to engage with men, ask them why they thought this was an appropriate way to behave. That always seemed like a little bit of a lost